Charlamagne the God just made a major move. That's another subtle shot at Joe Budden, which comes as a surprise to everybody because Charlamagne and Joe, we thought was on the path to a reconciliation when Charlamagne the God went on Angela Rye's podcast and defended Joe Budden against his own friends. Even Joe shouted out Charlamagne the God for holding it down.
This is Charlamagne, hold it down.
Yes, sir.
I do want to shout out. Let me shout him out.
Shout him out.
Shout out Charlamagne. All right. Anyway, but Charlamagne used his voice to defend me and us
and the pod. Yeah, no, Charlamagne held it down.
And I appreciate that. Let me not even make a joke about it. I do appreciate Charlamagne doing that. He didn't have to do it, especially with his people. So I'm assuming that he really believes that and felt that way. So shout out to him.
I'm fans of Charlamagne and Joe. So when I seen this, I'm like, bro, we can finally get a Joe Budden and Charlamagne the God collab again, bro. Yo, this was my hope. And I even seen that Charlamagne the God, he put Joe Budden on his Mount Rushmore of black podcasters. And it finally felt like, man, things are coming together.
You can do shows, the Mount Rushmore of black podcasting is the Combat Jack Show, the Reed, Joe Budden, and I'm gonna say 85 South. That's my Mount Rushmore of black podcast.
I have the same list, with the exception I would swap out the Reed and insert Drink Champs.
I'm just not sure of the blackness. I know it's black there.
EFN is black enough.
But no, you're right. They're right. You're right. She right though. She right. Drink Champ.
Yeah.
But the Reed, you gotta put the Reed there too. But just as long as we add another space to the Mount.
Mount Rushmore list, I do somewhat disagree with. I do think that the Reed is over Drink Champs. I think they're top two and they're not two from my perspective. But yeah, Joe Budden podcast, the Reed, the 85 South Show, I wouldn't put on there. Drink Champs, I wouldn't put on there. Yeah, but y'all let me know, man. All right, but that's not the point of this video. I'm not going to take too long. So he did this, and we thought things were aligning. And then today, it's been discovered that Charlamagne the God just made another move that not only do I believe would deepen or extend the turmoil with Joe Budden and Charlamagne the God, but this kind of put an end to all hopes of reconciliation or them ever being cool again. And that particular move is Charlamagne the God has announced he's going on Melyssa Ford podcast.
Starting November 11th, Tuesdays are getting hot and bothered. New episodes every Tuesday. The laughs, the lessons, the spice, the therapy you didn't budget for, that's all back. Save the date, Tuesday, November 11th.
Charlamagne the God going on Melyssa Ford's podcast is Charlamagne the God's attempt to empower Melyssa Ford to destroy Joe Budden. See, Melyssa Ford just announced her unceremonial exit from the Joe Budden podcast, and she didn't leave on good terms. Charlamagne the God then doing her podcast is fairly new. Is Charlamagne the God gearing up to empower Melyssa Ford to destroy the Joe Budden podcast. Charlamagne the God just don't do any type of podcast. He don't go on many podcasts. Yo, Charlamagne the God and Academics is really close. Academics had a rant like some time ago where he's talking about, yo, he invited Charlamagne the God on his podcast a dozen times. Charlamagne the God hasn't come.
I see Charlamagne with a hater that he signed, but I can't get him on my podcast. I've been begging him for like a year. Whenever you free, bro. Whenever. I've been on Andrew Schultz twice. Now I feel away. Act don't need none of y'all niggas. I'm about loyalty. Whoever's loyal to me, I'm loyal to y'all. Bruh, some of these I can't even, I'm like, all right, bro, y'all got it, man. Y'all Hollywood, y'all got it.
Oh, DJ Academics, who is close with Charlamagne the God, who's one of the biggest media personalities in the world, got like a top 10 hip-hop podcast on Spotify. He can't get Charlamagne the God to come on his podcast, but Charlamagne the God runs and do Melyssa Ford's podcast that's been probably up now for about 4 months. Hasn't had an episode in like a month and a half. He runs to do that podcast. That's because Charlamagne the God is empowering Melyssa Ford. See, Charlamagne the God has been sitting back and watching how this Melyssa Ford and Joe Budden podcast has unraveled. And I'm sure he's privy to more information than us, but we just found out that, Melyssa Ford is moving strategically, and gearing up for some type of legal pursuit here against the Joe Budden podcast, right? When I heard how Melyssa Ford left the podcast, I thought, yeah, she definitely suing, bro. She 100% suing the Joe Budden podcast. Melyssa Ford, apparently, when she left the Joe Budden podcast, she gave them an ultimatum. apparently she felt like she was being harassed or being, I guess, attacked by Queen's Flip too much. So she told Joe Budden podcast, hey, it's either Queen's Flip or me.
Melyssa Ford reportedly gave Joe an ultimatum. Flip leaves or I leave. Joe chose neither. She then allegedly pretended to be mentally unwell and worked her way out of her contract.
But that's what he told me, that she basically just, created something and just kind of got out of there, that she felt she wasn't protected. And that Flip kind of literally flipped on her, that episode that they didn't put it on the camera. They didn't put it on the camera or whatever. Or
This makes sense. This makes sense because in a couple episodes ago, Flip said to Mona, like, he made a mistake in calling the last woman his sister.
And I heard that, I fell down to my knees and gave a prayer for the Joe Budden podcast, man. When you pair up my mental health is being affected working here, oh man, I gotta go. You pair that up with a history of going to HR on the Joe Budden podcast, and then HR reportedly told Melyssa Ford to sue the Joe Budden podcast, and she decided, you know what, it's not that deep. I can work it out with my people. She got something coming down the pipe works, man. And I think Charlamagne the God understands this, which is why he's getting closer to her to make sure he can assist and facilitate the destruction of the Joe Budden podcast.
It was HR, we get away with a lot of shit. Nigga, we locked up.
Yo, I wish y'all could have been there, but it was too much going on. Mel, we said Mel.
Wait, tell me what happened, though.
No, because we might even talk about it before up here. But when we sent Mel to HR, like to talk to him, Mel, like, before she went, oh my God, the culture, I can't stand it, I don't know what's going on, and if you don't do something about those guys, right? We said, you know what, this is real.
Yo, fix your laptop, that shit about to fall.
We said, yo, this is real.
Oh, this serious? Yeah.
This is serious. Let's send Mel to HR. When Mel, and it was a woman, black woman. When she left HR, she was like, yeah, you know what? I think me and the guys can work it out. I think me and the guys can fix it ourselves.
You did say this before.
I love Mel. I absolutely love Mel.
Shout out.
Mel is the greatest.
HR talked you off the ledge?
No, it wasn't
They came to
that.
understanding.
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that.
What happened? What was it?
It was her suggestions. I was like, you know what? On second thought, I'm gonna save them. I'm gonna save.
Oh, you saved us. Are you Mel?
I'm just not.
Melissa,
you didn't even have a conversation with the lady, so shut up. You don't even know.
But I was beat. Melissa, look at me. Saved us.
She wanted to go in like a direction where I was like, you know what? Let me just reel this shit.
Mel, you know you would have been on the chopping block too, right? You know, and whatever you involved in is worse than anything that me or H could do.
Shout out to the Joe Budden TV community on Twitter and Dating from the Stop. They're the ones who provided us with that particular clip. Now, they claim they got this information from Joe Budden's own girlfriend, who he lives with. And as far as I'm concerned, if that's true, nobody is more credible about Joe Budden podcast information than his girlfriend, outside of Joe himself, right? She's the next best source. So if this is true, then, Joe is in some real serious trouble here. Because if Melyssa Ford now has the ear and the eyes and the attention of a mastermind like Charlamagne the God Who Hates You, it's not going to end well. Think about the scenario we're currently looking at here, okay? Melyssa Ford has gone to HR before about Queen's Flip. Melyssa Ford has openly chastised her co-host for, I guess, bullying her or bringing up things that were sensitive that she didn't agree with. So if she felt like it's gotten to a point where she felt comfortable telling Joe, hey, it's either Queen's Flip or it's me, something must have happened to where she felt like she was 100% in the right and that she has at least damaging information enough to where they would have fired Queen's Flip and kept her, because she's not a bigger star than Queen's Flip. So she must not have thought, okay, they would have kept me just based on stardom. No, she thought the information I have and what has happened to me is big enough to where y'all would have for sure kept me over Queen's Flip. And when that didn't work out, she left. And what's even more concerning for Joe is, Joe Budden kind of just let her out her contract fairly quickly and easily. And if you hear the information or how they spoke about it on their podcast, it didn't look like this was something that Joe did consensually, right? It felt like Melyssa Ford kind of maneuvered or forced her way out through probably like force or coercion. Because if you listen to Joe Budden talk about people kind of making their way out their podcast deal. Towards the end of this conversation, you could kind of tell they were talking about Melyssa Ford because they brought up something very specific that really only applies to Melyssa Ford.
I had a 1-year deal with an employer option for 12 or 14 years with BET. Wow. So we would always re-up, and it always worked out. But like every 6 months,
negotiating time.
Yeah. So I was anxious, and that's annoying.
That's annoying.
The stress, yo, the anxiety, and then you be having to hustle to get more shit.
Yeah. You gotta be on your best behavior all the time.
Yeah, dog. Sometimes the one figure, sometimes you can make more money outside in the world, but
and you can always figure it out later too.
It's comfortability, dog.
You think
that's because y'all men. That if I don't like you or to move wrong, I don't want to stay for long. So that's why we have to keep it short. So I know I still like you.
Yeah, I hear that too.
I don't want to be around it. I don't want to be around it.
Yeah, but y'all got other tricks y'all can pull to get out of contracts.
Don't we all?
No, we don't.
We don't have the same tricks?
No, not at all.
My brain.
I'm not playing with.
The brain bleeding was obviously a reference towards Melyssa Ford because in July of 2018, Melyssa Ford was involved in a near-fatal car crash while driving on the Ventura Freeway in Los Angeles. According to reports, an 18-wheeler clipped the back of her Jeep's tire, sending her car into a tailspin. Melyssa Ford suffered serious injuries, including a fractured skull, concussion, bleeding on the brain, and a 10-inch head wound while required stitches and staples, right? Now, obviously, when she first left for the first couple of episodes, we were told, Melyssa Ford is in the hospital. So obviously that was used for her to get out the contract fully. Just them making that joke about something so sensitive about Melyssa Ford kind of tells you, like, she didn't leave on good terms. They're not friends. They're not homie. And they feel hoodwinked by Melyssa Ford. They feel like she got over on them and she used something against them that they really couldn't combat, which was her mental health. And Charlamagne the God understands this. And Charlamagne the God understands that Melyssa Ford has a treasure chest of information on the Joe Budden podcast that I believe she plans on using against him, which is why he's now trying to empower her, go on her podcast, boost the popularity. He's probably going to sign her to the Black Effect Network by this afternoon, right? Charlamagne the God getting next to Melyssa Ford at this particular time is bad news for Joe Budden. I'm not sure if you guys been paying attention. So on that same particular call with the Joe Budden TV, they stated that Joe Budden's girlfriend found some text messages that were inappropriate between Joe and Melyssa Ford, and she shut it down. So if Joe was her employer and Melyssa Ford has messages or a conversation between the two that could be seen as inappropriate, this is going to get very dark and very bad. And Charlamagne the God, I believe, is going to coach Melyssa Ford through this.
Sade went through his phone. I was told that Sade went through his phone, found the information, and was like, and cut that down. And Melissa's made comments before where she said on the pod that she don't really care about girlfriends. She only cares about wives. So it's possible that Melyssa may have thought that Sade wasn't a staple, in his life, that they worked together.
I just feel like that rumor is so crazy to me because why would Sade let Melyssa stay around for that long?
Well, notice this. There was a post that Sade had on Twitter, and she said, she had said, I have to pull the Twitter, but she said something right when we thought that Melyssa was leaving and Melyssa never came back. Right after the drama, she was like, I told you were going to lose your job or something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but she posted something on Twitter, basically insinuating she's not coming back, but nobody caught that.
Man, Charlamagne is diabolical, man. Man, Charlamagne the God about to go to work, man. All right, he about to go to work with this information, bro. But obviously, anybody with a brain knows that Melyssa Ford is working on soon the Joe Budden podcast, bro. All of this is just her lining her ducks in a row, right? It's simple as that, man. But the reason why I'm shocked that Charlamagne the God is even connecting himself with Melyssa Ford at this point is because when Charlamagne the God and Queen's Flip had their little interaction, Charlamagne told Queen's Flip he don't dislike Joe Budden. They have no issues. The only issue he has with Joe was, I guess, a misunderstanding at some point, but he's completely past that. He wants to work it out with Joe. And then you turn around and connect yourself with a disgruntled ex-employee who could potentially sue the man. It's like, man, bro, I thought y'all was trying to be cool.
They're taking a lot of pictures. They're taking a lot of pictures. And we gotta give credit to my man for having a great vision because he brought all of us together.
and it's working.
Listen,
and it's working.
I'm not a hater. I watch the show. When my name come up, niggas get tight. I don't do that. I still give everybody props. I give everybody credit. Salute to him and everything that he's built. The only thing I've ever said over time, historically, was the spaces he was in weren't for him. He's found his own space. He's found his own lane. He's got success from it. I salute that.
All right,
but keep that in mind. When my name come up in that room, niggas be, f that nigga. Like, this nigga don't matter and all that.
I never did that.
Not you.
Okay.
But your man.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know.
But
you
listen,
know.
I met you in person, and
yes,
I think you're Shati.
Sure.
Yeah, I think you're honorable.
I appreciate you,
you're
man.
Honorable, but hopefully, this is not an act. Hopefully, I don't hear about it and I get fooled. I'm gonna be hurt. I'm gonna be sad.
I've been around too long to be acting, Flip.
Yeah, but there's something about you. I gotta get to the bottom. You're a smooth guy. and you smell like the Garden of Eden.
Looks like Flip was a sidekick because when Flip says, man, I hope this don't change, man. It looked like it did, man. All right, but y'all let me know, man. Right, y'all think Charlamagne the God going on Melyssa Ford podcast the minute she left the Joe Budden podcast is a big deal or no big deal? Y'all let me know. Maybe I'm reading too much into this, okay? Again, I like Charlamagne, I like Joe, so I don't have no dog in this fight. Y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think? And if you're still watching this video and you enjoy this video and you want to make videos like this yourself, I have a step-by-step book on how to make your first $10,000 a month and grow with secrets that I don't think nobody knows that I use to grow very fast. Link is in my description. And if you enjoyed this video, then click on this video right here somewhere on my screen to find out how Nipsey Hussle, big homie, just ended his gangbanger career, right? This Rolling 60 Crip OG gangbanging career just got ended by Nipsey Hussle's big homie. Click on this video right here to find out what I'm talking about. Out of here, folks. Peace.